Hello, BookTube. It's time for another Sunday Live with Brandy at the Booklectic. How is everybody this evening? Evening? Yes. Well, could be afternoon, could be morning.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me.
And we've already got a comment here from Mr. Alaska 556. Here lately, I have been reading C.J. Sanson, the Shard Lake series, and I absolutely love it. It is my favorite read right now. I've not read any of those. Mark, Book Time with Elvis, likes those. I think he just died recently too. I think. Well, we had three when we started. Now we got two, so somebody's left.
We scared them away.
Yeah. So how's your reading been this week?
It's been good this week.
Hi, Aaron. Aaron's here.
Hi, Erin.
Yeah, mine's been pretty good. It's not. Yeah, it was okay this week. I still think in my mind I've missed a book, but it doesn't matter.
Was it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or did you read that?
No, I read that earlier in the month, the first week, I think.
Oh,
But
okay.
I but,
Oh,
but
right,
I
right.
was
We talked about it too.
yeah, and I was reading Way Station, and then the next thing it seems like I thought, but I was sure there was something else I was reading in between that and my cookbook.
Yeah, there was. It was Madame Bovary.
Was that in between there?
I think
Maybe
so.
it might have been. Yeah, I can't remember. Randy is here. Randy Ray.
Hi, Randy.
So if you want to, well, we've got eight here already, so we got an audience.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and start. So the first book I've completed since the last time I was on is Babel by R.F. Kwang. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Um, and
Or
I did.
Babel.
No, it's Babel.
Well, no, I'm just saying because you didn't pronounce it, so you can say Babe or Babel. And I was just trying to.
Oh, you're being a
Never
smarty
mind.
pants. Okay.
Never mind.
Very funny, sir. Well, anyways, it was kind of a long book, but I did like it. I did like it. It's about a group of late teens to early 20s who are in college at Oxford, but it's like a special section of Oxford where they study translation and languages. And there's like a form of magic that has to do with silver. And everything in the world runs on silver, kind of like everything in the world runs on oil now. And the point of the book was the evils of colonialism. That was like the entire point of the book. And I did like it. It was really good. It was really, really well written. I have to say, this author is quite thorough and meticulous with her writing and her research for her book. But it was really heavy-handed, like extremely heavy-handed. There just wasn't a page in this book that did not point out how evil colonialism is, which I do agree that it is. It was awful. But I just wanted to read a book, you know what I mean? And I didn't want a lesson in political or social correctness. And so it wasn't the right book for me at the right time, but it was like a really good book and I really did enjoy it. Um, and now how many books have you read?
I finished. Well, no, I finished two, I
Two.
guess, or
Okay.
if or maybe it was Madame Bovary. If that was included, then three. I don't have it to hand here, but Way Station, which we'll be talking about next Sunday, a week today. Jenny's
Oh,
here.
hi, Jenny. You know what? I'll be right back, Sean.
Okay. But yeah, I've been and I read a cookbook. Maybe I should wait till Brandy gets back.
I'm back.
Okay. I read a cookbook. I've already talked about this in a video.
Yeah.
Uh, Jenny says, "Glad you're feeling better."
Thank you.
And yeah, so this was I did a video on this. So it's about Captain Cook's last and fatal voyage. The aim of the voyage was to try to find the Northwest Passage, but from the opposite direction, from the mouth instead of the butthole, I guess. um, and I started reading. Well, this is for Dune in June.
Mhm.
So the first book, and about 2000, somewhere around 2014 or 16 that I last read it. So it's nice to get back into it. But again, if you can see the laminates peeling off, and
Mm,
even at the top where I don't even touch it.
wow.
So I don't know. I like, yeah, look at that,
Yeah.
just peeling off, just crap. And today I started, well, because that's put on hold for the moment, because we're doing one book a week, or one section, the book one, book two, and so forth. And I started this just literally just about an hour or so ago. Ride the Wind, about Cynthia Ann Parker, for June on the Range Western.
Did is that the book that Summer read?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. See, like I had just by the impression of this, it looks like a romance, and
It does look like a romance.
she did not look like that. Um, but oh wow, that's a kind of neat thing. Like if you look there, that's the full
Oh,
painting.
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But it's I don't well from the first start of it, like the writer has got it pretty well down what happened in 1836 at the fort in Texas, where she was captured when she was 9 years old or kidnapped by the Comanche. So if she does turn it into a love romance, then it's like it's going to be a bit of a shock
Yeah.
because
Well,
it's pretty brutal.
is this the same woman who I'm probably getting my people mixed up. But there's a photo of her where she has like tattoos on her chin because she had like become part of the tribe and had a husband and children and everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she actually did have tattoo, but there are the ones that I've seen pictures of that. I can't remember whether she had or not, but her son, Quanah Parker, became sort of the last chief of the Comanche.
Mm.
Um, and so there's a whole thing about that as well. And I've been interested in it, and the Searchers. Um, well, it was originally a book called by Alan LeMay, I think it is, that is based sort of loosely based on her life, and then John Ford made it into a film with John Wayne and Chris and Captain Pike from Star Trek.
Mm. That actor,
Um,
you mean?
yes,
Anson something or another, who is extremely hot.
no, that was
Oh,
no,
you
the
mean the
original
original
one.
Captain Pike. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
getting my you're talking about an older movie.
yes.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I don't know if she's good. If she turns it into a sort of love romance, then that's going to be very shocking from the brutal first chapter. Very brutal first chapter.
Mm.
But then I finally read the back of it, and it looks like it'll be romanticized.
Mm.
Oh, why am I flickering?
I don't know. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, you are. I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know if that means something's gonna break down. But yeah, so that's what I started today. It's 600 pages. I'm just sort of getting into it because it's sort of going from a different style of writing of Frank Herbert. It takes me about 40 or 50 pages to get into the style of writing, and then I pick up the pace.
Mm.
So I'm not sure how far I'll get today, but I'm hoping by Wednesday anyway that I'll be finished at maybe Tuesday.
Mm.
Yeah, 600 pages. That's it for me. That's all she wrote. That's all he read.
Okay, well, I'll do my other books here. So after Babel, I got a jump start on Book Trek, and I think the last time I was on, I was talking about The Face of the Unknown, and then I went on to The Captain's Oath by the same author, Christopher L. Bennett, and this was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. This is the worst Star Trek book I've ever read.
Well, look who's on the cover, and I wonder why.
Captain Kirk,
Yeah.
you're going to get beat up by Star Trek fans.
Well, it's the reason why it's called Shat. Like he shat all over the universe, Shatnerverse.
Oh
That's why it's
no,
called that.
no. Oh, terrible, Sean. You better not let Steve Donahue hear you dissing Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
this is what he was. Somehow they based him on Captain Cook, which I don't see any relation to it at all. But anyway, somehow.
Well, and I don't know because I have not read that book
There you
or much
go.
about Captain Kirk.
Jenny's got my back.
Oh, Jenny. She's going to join you in that doghouse. Well, anyway, Star Trek fans, don't read this one. It's awful. Um, and then, do you remember the other day when I was asking you that there was some book I really wanted to read for June
Oh
on the
yeah.
Range, and I couldn't remember what it was? You know why I couldn't remember what it was? Because A, it was on my Kindle, and B, I'd already read it to get a jump start on that, and it was The Mark of Zorro.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I
Okay.
just I can remember because I'd already finished it, um, but yeah, this was a good time. I loved this. It was silly and it was fun. And you definitely have to keep it in context when you're reading it because it's a bit on the sexist and colonialist side of things. But other than that, this was really fun. I really, really enjoyed that. I did not realize it was so good. But the other thing I realized as I was reading this is I have read this before. I've read this before. I do not know when. I do not know how old I was or anything, but I have definitely read this before because as I was reading it, I was like, I remember these scenes. I remember what happens in these scenes. Like I couldn't remember like the story as a whole, but as I was reading it, I was like, I have definitely read this before. So,
That's the
but
same that I had with the Book of the New Sun, the first book. It was like, I'm going, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen next, but then I
right.
don't know what's going to happen in 10 pages until I get to the 10 pages. Then I know what's going to happen in the 11th page.
Right, right. Yeah, but yeah, so I've definitely read this before. This was my June on the Range entry. So, and then I read, this was probably the highlight of my reading since the last time I was on, and that was Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. Well, I'm done with it. Annie Bot. Loved this book. This was a 5-star read for me. This book takes the dynamic between um, an abuser and the victim of that abuse. It takes the dynamic of an abusive relationship and places it in the context of an artificial intelligence that is female and has emotions and everything, and a man. And I'll tell you what, this book was outstanding. It was not heavy handed, it was not preachy. It was just the story, and the focus was on the characters and not on the situation. And it just goes, it takes this Annie Bot through the entire gambit of emotions, from believing that all of her victimization is her own fault into how she comes to realize that her situation is not her fault. And oh my gosh, it was so good. This was so good. I like highly recommend this. It was marvelous. This is like the best book on this kind of subject that I have ever read. It was so good. I just absolutely loved it. And it had a good ending and everything. It was fantastic. I was shocked. I was shocked because I thought it sounded good, but usually when I think these newer books sound good and they cover some kind of a social issue, it always turns out to be really preachy or something, and it's disappointing to me. This one was not. It was fabulous, just fabulous. And then I read Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton.
Oh, what did you think of that? Yeah, you did
I
say.
did like this one. So like the first Michael Crichton book I read was Sphere, and I hated it. And then I read Jurassic Park, thinking, well, surely I'll like Jurassic Park because everybody likes Jurassic Park. I hated that. It was terrible. And then I read Andromeda Strain, and this was essentially my last chance for Michael Crichton. But I did like this. It didn't blow me out of the water or anything, but I did like it. It was interesting. It was exciting in a like scientific, academic kind of way, instead of being action packed. And I did like this a lot. I did like it. I thought it was really good. So I'm going to try Congo next by Michael Crichton and see what I think about that.
Yeah, well, like I said before, well, or to you, I think I've read, I think three for sure. I've read
Mhm.
Andromeda Strain, and then I realized because I thought I read another medical mystery type thing, but it wasn't. It was the Great Train Robbery and Congo, and I did like Great Train Robbery, and I like Congo, but I don't know
Mhm.
if I'd like Congo now. That's the thing, but I might like the Great Train
Right.
Robbery again. Jenny says, I didn't even realize there was a sequel to Andromeda Strain.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, Michael Crichton didn't write it though.
oh, okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
didn't write
write
it.
it. Okay. But yeah, I didn't know there actually was. And the movie's pretty good too, if I remember right. It's a long I
I
saw that.
might read the Andromeda Strain sequel. I don't know, but Jenny says it was good. It's probably as good. I might give it a try. And you said you'd watched the movie. There's difference. There's a couple of big differences between the movie and that book. Now, it's been a long time since I saw the movie. I saw the movie when I was, I don't know, in elementary school. I was like sixth grade or something, somewhere in there. But I remember there being a female scientist who was epileptic, and she was watching for growth in these petri dishes, and there was a red light that was flashing to say negative for each of the petri dishes, and it put her into like a staring episode with her epilepsy. And in the book, there's no female scientists. All the scientists are male, and the one who is epileptic doesn't. They never say what triggers his epileptic episode, and it wasn't his fault that the crisis happened. And in the movie, I think the crisis was her fault, but in the book, it wasn't the scientists due to the scientist's epilepsy. It was something else. But anyways, yeah, there was differences. There was differences, but I did like it. And I liked the movie too when I saw it, even though it's been forever.
Jenny says Jurassic Park is awesome. I've never wanted a kid to be eaten more than Lex in that book.
Yes,
So
thank
glad they made
you,
her better in
thank
the movie.
you. Thank you. In the book, that girl is so annoying. I was like, he just needs to pick her up and throw her ass to the dinosaurs because I was so annoyed through the entire book with that character. I just couldn't stand her. Every scene with her was terrible. Yes, she ruined the entire book for me.
I don't like the film Jurassic Park. I just thought it was absolute tripe. And it was like because I watched it with somebody and they were saying, "Oh, it's so great! You'll never guess who's going to die or how they're going to die." And it's like, and then I'm going, okay. I look at the characters and who the characters are, and I said, "Oh, okay, this person's going to die. I don't know exactly know how, but some way that everybody's going to
Yeah,
laugh and it's going to be funny." And I was right every time because it was so
yeah,
predictable.
yeah. It was very predictable. I did like the movie though. I enjoyed the movie.
Jenny's saying, I think this is for Andromeda Strain. There's two versions. There's the original movie, and they made a miniseries. I didn't know about
Oh,
the miniseries
I didn't know about the miniseries either.
because what I would have saw would have been the movie. That I don't know. I'm trying to think. Well, when was the book written?
I don't know.
You've
70s.
got the book right there.
Oh yeah, I do have the book. Oh, it's 69. It was 69. I don't have to
Yeah,
look up.
I was going to say 70, like 70, 70, 72, 73 for the Andromeda Strain, but may have been even earlier.
Yeah, it was 69 for the book, and then I don't know when the movie came out, 70 something.
Like I remember reading Congo, and then I thought the movie was absolutely awful. But I still at that time liked the book, but I don't know if I would like it now. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's going to be my next one to try for Michael Crichton.
But if you think it's if you like it, then it might be something that I might try again.
Congo.
That's the only one. Yeah, that's the only
Mhm.
one I might
Do you have a
try.
copy of it?
No, I don't. No. There's a book that I want to read that I really enjoyed. Was it by Robin Cook? No, this is completely a little different, but is it called the Sphinx or something like that? It's about an archaeologist and or an Egyptologist, and I get confused because there was a movie with for both those, but I get confused with the movies. Um, what's his name? Oh, Moses is in one of the movie, The Awakening, I think it was called, and Leslie Ann Down. And I get these things confused, but I think it's Robin Cook and the Sphinx. Anyway, I want to reread that. Anyway, I don't know why that came to mind. Sorry.
Well, I don't know those actors and I don't know those movies, so I'm no help at all.
Well, Charlton Heston. You know Charlton Heston.
Yeah, I do know who Charlton Heston is.
Yeah, that's why I said Moses because I couldn't think of his name.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Or I could have said Ben Hur as well. Uh, just don't take Congo too seriously, and you might enjoy it. I see. I don't remember Tim Curry in the movie. I don't remember him in there.
I never
I
saw
just
the
remember
movie.
not liking it.
I love Tim Curry though.
He plays a good uh, Jay, and from Three Men in a Boat,
Hmm.
Mark's favorite book, and uh, Satan. I guess Satan, Devil, whatever. In
Yeah, the devil in Legend. Yeah. Oh my God, I love that movie.
and until somebody, well, I'm going to preempt that if anybody puts up Rocky Horror Picture Show, I've never seen it, so I haven't seen it. So
Yeah, I haven't seen that either, and I really should. I mean, I don't know why I haven't seen it. It's a cult classic. It's one of those movies that probably everybody should see and has seen, but me and you.
yeah,
I
I've
really
never
liked
seen
him
it.
in Clue, actually. That's one of my favorite movies is Clue with Tim Curry as the butler. I fucking loved that movie. Oh,
Oh
I said
yeah, that
butler,
is
sorry.
just so weird.
Clue?
Yeah, the only thing I remember is isn't it the maid
No, well,
with
I
the
can't.
boobs in
They
everybody's
go
face?
through several endings. At the end of the movie, they go through several
Yeah.
movies where each of the different characters are the killer.
But isn't the maid have she's got her boobs in everybody's face? Oh, acting
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, she's wearing like a sexy maid outfit.
I remember when that came out because I guess it was made from the game, wasn't it? It wasn't that it spawned the game, did it?
I don't know which came first. I think the game came first, and
Yeah.
then they made the movie in the 80s. I'm pretty sure that that's the way it went, which Clue is one of my favorite games. In fact, I still have my Clue game that I bought when I was 17 years old from having my first job.
I've never ever played it. I've only played like board. Well, okay, if you don't count chess or checkers, the only games that I played is Trivial Pursuit, um, the one with money.
Monopoly?
Yes, and it's sort of you take over country. Was it called Risk?
There's
No,
yeah, Risk. There's a game called Risk. It's like a
I think
strategic game where you're getting territory over the world.
yeah, I think that I played that once. I think that's the only board games I've ever played.
Hmm. I've played them all. I was huge into board games.
Well, it's not too many games you can play by yourself.
Yeah, well, my I had a brother growing up, and oh my God, Sean, that went right over my head. Anywho, Clue was one of my all-time favorites for sure.
No, I knew it existed and lots of other ones, but yeah, I never played. It's like video games. I think I played Space Invaders once. I remember Pac Man maybe once or twice. Pong, and there was another one that had something to do with building countries or something like that. Somebody was trying. I just thought, oh, this is boring. It was on actually a computer. These others were done in arcade games.
I gotcha. I was super into video games too. Of course, I had an Atari when I was in Frogger. That was a favorite. Yeah, I still have my Atari. You want to come over and play with me, Jenny? It still works.
Oh, I've
I
never
still
heard of
have all
that.
my games.
Never heard of that.
Frogger, it's like your character is a little frog, and you have to first cross a busy highway, and then you have to cross a river that has logs and lily pads floating across it, and then you have to get into the home slot. And you have to do it 5 times, and then you go up to the next level, and each level it gets harder to do.
Okay.
It was fun. It was a blast.
I sort of in my life I equate like video games with comics. There weren't things that really impacted me at all. Either of those, where everybody else was knee deep
Mhm.
in video games and comics.
Well, I was knee deep into video games, but I was not into comics. I never liked comics.
Jenny says it's getting very competitive. Well, the
It
only
does.
comic that I liked was I remember buying at the sort of the general store type thing was Scooby Doo comics.
Scooby Doo. I loved the
Yeah.
cartoon. None of the remakes. The original one from the 70s. It was really good.
Okay. The only Napoleon I know that's worthwhile is
Total
Abel
War.
Gant. So I don't
I,
think
yeah.
that's it.
Total War is not a game I really enjoyed, but it's another one of those strategic games that like my son really liked. My son liked Risk, the board game. That's like his favorite game as far as board games go, or the old fashioned ones.
Because is this a board game, Mario Kart, or
Mario Kart. Me and my son brings his Switch over every now and then, and me and him and Eric always, well, I shouldn't say always, but every once in a while we'll do a whole day of Mario Kart gaming, and
a
that's a lot of
Switch?
fun.
The only thing I know about a Switch is it's a branch that you get spanked with.
Oh my
I don't
god.
think you're talking about that, are you?
Nope. Switch is the latest Nintendo platform.
Okay,
Mhm.
I knew that.
Oh, I can tell.
But yeah, no, those things just never made an impact on me.
Mhm.
It's just, yeah,
Hello.
well, yeah, I just it's I think there are two things that just I never got into for some reason.
Yeah, I was definitely not into comic. Even now, I keep trying like graphic novels and manga. I keep trying those things, but I keep not liking them. So far, there's only two that I have liked. One is I forgot what it's called, but it's about these dinosaurs who are also astronauts and they travel around in space. And the captain is a velociraptor, and they're made for kids, and they're real pretty. Like I love the artwork and everything in them, and they're fun, you know. And then the other one I like is this series called Killing Stalking, and I keep pre-ordering the books as they are become available for pre-order. It's like a horror psychological type of manga. And even though I do have troubles like figuring out what's going on in some of the panels, I kind of struggle with it. I like the story so much that I keep getting the books. So and that's so far that's it. That's all I've been able to like and all the ones that I've tried.
Well, I when I was in Canada, like I don't know, maybe about a decade before I left, I started buying something comic. Basically, it was because the creator of Babylon 5, J. Michael Straczynski, started writing comics. So I started collecting his stuff and variations. And
Hmm.
then because I'm in the comic shop, like I just loved the artwork of some of the covers. So I started buying them for the artwork, for the cover artwork. I never
Hmm.
read them, but I was buying them just for the covers.
Hmm.
And I think there's still like hundreds at my friend's place in Canada. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, and I bought well, actually, it was given to me a huge Star Trek collection of like several hundred Star Trek comics. And
And
the
you don't
only
even
thing
like
that
Star Trek.
what?
And you don't even like Star Trek.
No, but the thing that twisted my arm was I think one of them was written by J. Michael Straczynski,
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
but I had to take them all to get that one.
Yeah. Well, did you like the comics that he made?
Yeah, like it was Midnight Nation. It was a vampire one I liked, and the other one that I started reading, but he had problems with the publisher, so he eventually finished it, called Rising Stars. It was like I think it was like a League of America or whatever it was type thing. And then he started writing for Superman, Thor, and all other stuff, which I sort of lost track of
Mhm.
all that stuff. But and then I sort of discovered the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen by Alan Moore, which I did like. And there was a couple others that were kind of nice. There was that I read that I don't know if they ever completed it. One was called Mythos, I think, or something, and it was set in Victorian times, but people had PDAs, and like they were tracking down mythical creatures like the
Oh.
Minotaur and stuff like that. And I liked it.
Mhm.
And then there was another one that was it's set modern day, but it's like at the height of medieval, like Inquisition type level, and I thought that was really good. But yeah, I don't know where these things went. I only read a couple issues.
Hmm, interesting. Well, I have recently watched this movie called I forgot what it's called. I want to say Night something, but it's a Marvel film, but I don't know if it was ever in the movie theaters or not. And it's short; it's only like an hour long, and it's about this uh, man who's a werewolf, but he's like not evil, and he shows up at this compound of like monster hunters, and he pretends to be a monster hunter, or I think he is a monster hunter, but he doesn't kill all the monsters. He only kills like the bad ones or whatever. But anyways, he himself is a monster. And so he shows up at this compound, and then there's this woman who's there who's like the daughter of the guy who owns the compound who has died. And it was like a whole thing. But anyways, I really, really liked that movie. I thought the movie was so good, and it like made me want to like look at one of the comics to see what the comic was like. But when I went to looking into it and everything, everybody who was talking about it that I could find anyway said that the comic was really not that good.
Mm.
So yeah, so then I gave up on deciding to look for that and try those out. But I'm hoping they make more of those little movies because I thought that movie was really good.
I never heard. I'm not sure what Jenny's referring to here is LXG movie. Okay,
LXG. I don't know what LXG is either.
so you have to translate, Jenny. But yeah, like I say, I got in a couple things, and it was like, but I bought a whole bunch because like their covers of like the artwork was so great, on some of these. But then
Yeah,
because it was a different artist than the inside, but then you go in the inside and the artwork didn't match up to the cover. But
right.
that's what I was buying it for, was the cover. So, oh, League of Extraordinary.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay,
that makes sense now.
yeah. Yeah, I thought the movie was bad. I thought it was really bad. But
I
I
saw that
enjoyed
movie.
the book. I never read anything else. I read the first one. Um and then I read the League of, and I actually had, well, it's still in Canada, but it would cost a fortune to ship it. It's like a deluxe edition of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Uh or the second one.
Hmm.
Aaron says Wolf by Night is fun. That must be this. It's
I think that's it. Wolf by Night. Yeah.
shot to look reminiscent of the old
Yeah.
30s Universal horror
Yes.
film.
It
Oh,
was
never heard of
so
it.
great. Oh, it was so great. It was really good. Sean, I'm pretty convinced you would like that. They released like a second version of it too that was in color, but the color one wasn't as good because I watched them back to back. And the black and white one is definitely where it's at.
Did they change it, or just that it's one's black and
No,
white, one's color?
no, no, it's exactly the same. It's just they colorized it. They released it like a year later in color as well. But that movie in black and white is way better. It's not as good in color.
Well, that's the thing. Putting color on stuff, or even filming in color, gets rid of, if you're trying to work with shadows and stuff, and it changes the whole mood of things.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it didn't feel as gothic-y in color, and also it didn't feel as classic in color. So it definitely, the black and white original version is the best.
yeah, Aaron says he saw League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as a teenager, so he's fond of it. But it's far from perfect. Yeah. Yeah, well, what they're doing is like all these video games are being into TV shows, and I have no idea that half the stuff I start watching or I have watched that is a video game. You know.
Like what? Like Fallout was a video game.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but I actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed the first season of that, and
Eric watched it too. He said it was really good as well. I have no intention of watching that.
well, the thing I liked about it was that they had like it's a but with a '50s feel, with the
Yeah.
music and everything. It still had a '50s feel. The only problem, well, there's a few problems. The main actor, guy that was Paul Atreides in the '80s film. I just can't think can act his way out of a wet paper bag.
Hmm.
Um, and I think Jenny's referring to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's cheesy bad, fun
That
cheesy bad.
that 50s feel that you're talking about, that whole atomic, thing that's got going on, that's from the game. The game is like that. The
Yeah,
games,
that's what
there's
I've
a
been
series of
told.
games. Yeah.
That's what I've been told. And another one that I would never watch it again, but I've seen both seasons so far. What's it called? Halo, I think. And
Oh, Halo.
it's got some interesting things. The people can't act their way out of wet paper bags, but it's just, especially the one guy. The main actor just can't act at all.
There's a lot of Halo books too.
Yeah, but I see. I didn't when I watched the first season of that because there was nothing else on, and I wanted to watch it, and I had no idea what it was based like that. It was based on that, and until somehow I found out later.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's what I heard too, is that it made fans of the video game angry. So I don't know. But the guy who did the Fallout, the reason why I watched that was the thing. The reason why I watched that was because he was the same one that did a series that I really like called um, A Man or Person of Interest.
Hmm.
Semi science fictional, uh, sort of action packed. Yeah, I don't know anything about Dread. I all I know is the name and that there's comics. I think there might be
Well,
even video games. I have no idea.
well, Judge Dredd. I didn't know anything about Judge Dredd, but I did watch the movie with Sylvester Stallone years and years ago, and I did not like it.
I sort of forgot about that, but I never saw it. I
You
try
just
not to.
remember that it was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been watching anything now because, like I say, I I've been blocked from watching Netflix now, so I can't get on next Netflix anymore. And my freebie, well, no, okay, I had a free month of Prime, and along with that came a free month of Paramount, and then I think I paid three because it sort of overlapped. I had to pay £3 something for another month of Prime in order to continue until the end of your favorite Star Trek series finished.
Are you talking about Discovery? Now you're
Yeah,
being smart.
yeah. So now I've canceled it all. So as of I think the 15th or 12th or something like that, I'll have no access to Prime anymore. But I can still watch the um, Freevee or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Well, I subscribe to Paramount because Paramount is like my streaming service that I like, that I use the most. Because they have all the Star Trek stuff, plus they have like the stuff from the Smithsonian, and so like they have all these plane crashes, investigations, and all that, and I really like all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
that's kind of my go-to subscription service.
yeah, it's very different here as we talked about before.
Yeah.
Uh, Jenny's saying for Dread, watch the Carl Urban. Isn't that a country singer? Carl Urban.
I think that's Keith Urban.
Oh, okay. Well, close enough. Same difference. That's a great film, and from a few Judge Dredd comics I've read, seemed very faithful. Yeah, I never read any of the comics. Like I say, um, I'm not a comics person per se. Um, I'm not against them. It's just and
They're
the
not your
cost.
thing.
What is it? Probably £10 per comic or something like that now.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But yeah, and
Exactly.
so what do you have you lined up for reading next?
Oh, well, it's book check now, honey. So right now I'm on my first away mission, and so I'm reading Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan. Well, I'm not reading it. I do have it on Kindle, but I'm listening to the audiobook. And then I'm reading The Ashes of Eden, which is like the first book in the Shatnerverse novels, which I'm buddy reading with Brandy. So,
Yeah, well, I'm gonna continue with this, and
mm-hmm.
then I'll be reading. Uh, Maybe if I can find it, should be here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. This week I'll be reading as well. This one, it's a
Oh,
science
okay.
fiction
Let's.
one. It's reading with Scott Danielson and Mark. We're sort of reading three sort of historically related science fiction books,
Nice.
and that's the first one.
What
And what else? And then yeah, then the rest of Dune next week.
are you reading
Uh,
for book check?
Nothing.
Not even some Babylon 5?
I found a couple, but they're out of order and stuff because I was reading I was going to read the three trilogies when I did the Babylon 5 thing, and then I got ill, and I don't know where they all are. I don't even have all of them. The the cost of these things, it's like to find one in this condition, if you're lucky, it's like they want 100 and some pounds for it, and it's like
Mm,
this, peeling off and stuff, and it's like it's ridiculous.
yeah.
So, but I used to have them all in paperback. I bought them when they came out,
Mm.
and I'd read no one of the trilogies I didn't read. But I think yeah, I remember Fred at Read by Fred read one of the Babylon 5 ones, but he read a novelization of one of the films, and I was like, oh, that's a bad place to start. You're not going to get a good impression of that.
Yeah. I think I have the first three. I don't know. Are they numbered or whatever? I just seem to remember I have three, the first three of something. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
there was a numbered series that went up to I think 10 or 11, and they're okay. They're not great, but it's the trilogy. There's three trilogies that are actually very good. They are really good because they explain a lot of stuff like background and that, and it actually works. They're I guess what they call canon. The numbered ones are not really canon.
well, maybe what I have is like the first trilogy or whatever, because I'm surely I would have consulted you before I just picked up Babylon 5 novels. You know what I mean?
Carl Urban played Bones in the new Star Trek films. See, I haven't seen any of those yet because they
Well, the
cost
first
money
one
to
is
make.
good. The Kelvin timeline, the first one is good, and the third one is decent. The second one is absolute crap, but
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did see the first one. I can't remember now. Uh, do you immersive read, Brandy?
well, I consider, yeah, I get immersed in the books I read, but it depends on what you mean by that. Really.
I would take it to mean like it would, because like when I read The Terror, if I would have had other polar exploration books, I would have dug into those and probably for weeks or a month, and
Mhm.
then got bored, or not bored maybe, but then for some reason read something else and then went on a different tangent.
Yeah, I go on book tangents all the time. I went on a dinosaur rampage last year, and then I did vampires for 2 months. Then I did book trek for 3 months. Then I did science fiction for a while. Right now, I'm on Book Trek, of course, because yesterday was the first day of Book Trek, so it will be nothing but Star Trek for the next 3 months for me.
Well, yeah, I'm reading a bit of science fiction this month, but July is Simac summer or summer of Simac. Other people are calling it Rocket Summer for some silly reason.
Oh, I do plan to read R's for Rocket by Ray Bradbury for Rocket Summer, just because I couldn't help myself. It was too perfect.
It's a good collection. Do you read along with the audiobook?
Oh, sometimes. Mostly I don't, but occasionally I will be listening to the audiobook and looking through the book at the same time. But I'm much more likely to be going back and forth because I turn on audiobooks when I'm doing stuff or when I'm in my car. So that I can like kind of increase the books that I'm consuming. But then when I'm at home and I can sit down, then I'll pick up the actual book and read it, and then just when I go back to the audiobook, then I'll skip forward to wherever I was at in the physical book, and then I just go back and forth. But not very often, but I do occasionally do it at the same time.
Yeah, I don't. I've tried. Like it really. There's only a handful of readers or narrators that can sustain my attention. If it's the same person reading, like I'll listen to radio programs, radio dramas, because there's a little more drama usually to that, because you got different voices. But it
Yeah.
has to be a really good, engaging narrator for a book to do it, and there's not many.
Well, I there was a huge like learning curve for me on audiobooks because I thought I would try audiobooks, and the first time I tried it, I absolutely could not do it. I felt like I was being forced into a perspective that wasn't my own by the
Yeah.
person who was narrating, and that really disturbed me. And so I automatically dismissed it as I'm not doing audiobooks. And then it was several months later when I tried again because I had put up my pool. It was the first year I put up my pool, and I was swimming, but I wanted something to be going on while I was swimming. And so I thought, well, I'll give audiobooks another try. And this time I had picked up the complete collection of Sherlock Holmes stories, and I listened to the sample of the narrator and I thought it sounded good. So I listened to all the Sherlock Holmes stories on audiobooks while I was swimming, and I loved them. I loved them. So after that, I could only listen to audiobooks by specific narrators. Like they had to be just the right narrator in order for me to listen to it. And then it developed into um, I was only listening to it had to be the right narrator, but then I was including books that I had already read that I wanted to reread. And so it didn't matter who the narrator was because I had already read the book. But nowadays I'm like 100% in. Like it doesn't matter who the narrator is, as long as they're not absolutely horrible. If I don't like the narrator, I'm able to separate the way they're reading the book from the words of the book themselves and sort of redo it in my own head as I'm listening. So now it just doesn't matter. It doesn't, the narrator doesn't matter as much. Half the time I don't even listen to the samples. If it's on audiobook, I'm just like, boop. And then I can separate it in my own head while I'm listening.
It's too much work, and my brain wouldn't do that anymore. It wouldn't get that
Well,
far.
it didn't happen overnight. It took several years for me to get to this point. So I figure
Uh,
listening must be like a skill you have to kind of learn, apparently.
Jenny says Tim Curry narrates. I didn't know he did, but that's not a surprise. He'd be good at
Yeah,
certain things.
he's not as good as you might think, though. He was in a audio version of Dracula where he played the part of Van Helsing in Dracula, and he was not that good. In fact, he was the only one in that audiobook that I didn't like. He was the only voice actor I didn't like.
If he would do Three Men in a Boat good, I think, if he did it in the way he did the TV movie. If he used that kind of inflection and voice, it would that would be good, I think.
Mhm. Well, I've never listened to an audiobook that had Tim Curry narrating just on his own. My only experience with him, of course, is his one part in the Dracula audiobook. So,
So what they had different voices for every.
Yeah, they had different actors for every character.
Yeah, it's like at that point, then why do it as an audiobook? Why not just do it as a dramatization? Like that's almost what I would say.
Well, I mean, really, what would be the difference, really? You know what I mean? Except for one is just a person and one is a group of people. So, I mean, it seems like the same thing to me. So,
Tim Curry does all the Sabriel books.
Sabriel books.
Uh, I have no idea what those are. Neil Gaiman. I think I woke Jenny up this morning with a Voxer message. I didn't realize what time it was because I found when I was looking for a couple things. I was still looking for my Louis L'Amour books, and I think I found every Sackett book that I have except the two that I want to read.
That figures.
Yeah, and then I was looking for the rest of the Dune ones, and I can't find the paperback Dune Messiah that I wanted, but I have it in hardcover. So if I do
This
continue on, I
magazine.
can read the hardcover. But I found Neil Gaiman's American Gods, and I read the introduction, and it confused me.
I have a question for Jenny. So Jenny, does Neil Gaiman narrate Good Omens, or have you read that or heard the audiobook? Or do you just know from looking around? I want to read Good Omens because I watched the show, the season one of the show, absolutely loved it, thought it was marvelous. It was so good.
Don't watch season two.
I'm not going to because it looks like it's going to suck, and so I'm not going to watch it. But season one was fantastic. Um, but yeah, I want to read the book now. But I'm interested to know whether or not Neil Gaiman narrates that himself because he wrote that with Terry Pratchett, is my understanding. What's the matter, kitty?
Oh, the
Okay.
other thing that I found was the 3 volumes of the Penguin 1001 Nights.
Oh, nice. God, I need to pick those up. I still don't have those. I need to pick those up because I want to read those. I mean, I probably won't read them this year, but next year I want to read those.
Yeah, I keep saying there's. I keep saying, "Oh, I'm going to read this next year," and it's like, I think I've now probably said enough books that would take up 3 years reading because they're
Yeah.
series or long things.
Right. Well, I'm doing Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire in September, starting in
Yeah.
September.
Well, that's I got that. That's sitting here at my feet,
Yeah.
waiting to be done. So
I'm gonna buddy read that with Thomas, and I'm assuming you're still gonna read it too
yeah,
at the
well, as I
same
say, I
time.
got it here, waiting to be read.
Nice.
So that's
Yeah, you have those
September,
nice copies too.
and that's September and probably October or part of October. Uh,
My guess is it's gonna be September, October, and November. I'm figuring a book a month.
Jenny says it's Martin. Martin Jarvis is good. I'll listen to him definitely. Does it? He also does parts of American
Oh,
Gods. The rest is done with a full cast. I
neat.
like Martin Jarvis. He does some Woodhouse. He's done Dickens, I think, as well.
Um, I did a. Doesn't PG Woodhouse write those Jarvis books or stories? The
What?
Butler Jarvis? No, Jeeves. Is it Jeeves?
Yeah,
My Man Jeeves or something like that?
that's one of the collections. Yeah.
Okay, is that PG Woodhouse?
Yes,
Okay, so I listened to that on audiobook, and I did like the narrator of those stories. Is that the same guy?
it could be Martin Jarvis. Yeah, it could be. Aaron says walking the dog, but I've been enjoying listening to the chat.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think people do. They like it was when I think on Friday, um, like Arian was she turned it on. It wasn't watching us. It was just painting while listening, and then until she heard some disgusting conversations, so she stopped painting to listen closely. No, Martin Jarvis is good. He's done a lot of stuff. Like that's one that I will listen to because he's good. But PG
You know,
Woodhouse, that's yeah, I love. I'm looking at everything. I put up that picture. I got a whole cabinet full of
um,
plum collection.
Mark from Book Time with Elvis. Mark should narrate books. He'd be marvelous.
Yeah, well, he did the was it Sense and Sensibility? Or no, not that one. He did one of Jane Austen's thing. Yeah.
You
Oh,
mean,
yes. He did Just Williams. Yeah, Just William stories are good. If you want to, well, I don't know if you'd like the. I was gonna say, Brandy, you might like the Just William stories, but maybe not.
what are they about?
It's a kid in the 1920s getting into trouble, basically.
Okay.
But they're fun. I discovered them by buying. I used to find at the book sale like nice little hardcovers like green without the dust jackets. The original dust jackets were glorious, but I could
Mhm.
never get them with the dust jackets. But they were nice little green buckram hardcovers, and I used to uh, read them. And I've got a set now in paperback that was a box set, but it was at my old place. It was up at the top, and it's got sun, so all the spines are just they were red, and now they're just sort of off
Mm.
color. They're still readable, but I never got around to reading it. When I saw it at a remainder place for like £2 or £3, I go, oh, I gotta buy that. I used to love reading those, and it was always on Sunday. Sunday was great television when in the 90s at 7:30, no 6:30, I think it was, yeah, 6:30. You got a Just William for a while. They had a half-hour Just William episode, and then at 7 o'clock was Rumple of the Bailey. 8 o'clock was Nature documentary show. 9 o'clock was, I can't remember whether it was Masterpiece Theater or Mystery, and then at 10 o'clock it was the Masterpiece Theater or Mystery, and then at 11 o'clock it was Upstairs Downstairs, Take You to Midnight. So like from 6:30 to midnight every Sunday, I had like almost 6 hours of television that was glorious.
Nice. The only TV I remember watching on Sunday was when they had The Outer Limits and Amazing Stories back to back.
Yeah, but those are the new Outer Limits.
Those are in the 80s. Yeah.
But no, Sunday was great because I that was the day, because when I was especially the early 90s when I was going to university, it was like that was the day that what I do is I was working security guard usually Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. So I'd come home at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, and when I was young, I only needed a couple hours sleep. So I'd sleep for a little bit, and then I'd read all day, cook something to eat, and then watch in the evening. And that was just a beautiful Sunday for me.
Nice. Okay, I have to ask Jenny. She's talking about Lex. Are you talking about Lex, the TV show, or are you talking about a character called Lex in some other show that was talked about here?
She must be talking about Lex in the um, Jurassic Park,
Oh, okay,
because
okay.
the Lex TV show is not a she.
Well, I know that, but I wasn't sure if she was talking about Lex and then talking about the female character or not. Zev is her name. I didn't know. I wanted to, because if we were going to have a Lex conversation, I loved that show. So before I started singing its praises, I wanted to find out, is she really bringing up the Lex TV show or not?
Yeah, I was finally able to see the final series.
Oh, what'd you
Uh,
think about that final season?
Weird, but that's power for the course. But I like their chess game. I really like the chess game that they
Yeah,
had.
yeah. I loved that show. It was so original. You know what I mean? It was like one of the few shows that had like original, characters and original, aliens and original themes and stuff like that. I really liked it, even though it was very cheesy and there was a lot of sexual innuendo.
A lizard sex slave.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it was at the same time I think as Farscape was around the same
Lex?
time. I think Farscape was.
It might have been. It might have been.
It's a big.
Penis-shaped bug ship.
Well, no. Well, to me, it looks like a dragonfly without the wings, with
Yeah, it is
with
like a
the wings
dragonfly,
off.
but you cannot discount the phallic shape of Lex. It you know, clearly looks like a penis.
And Stan the man was the captain.
Yeah. He had Lex's key in his palm of his hand. And then Zev was like, they were trying to transform her into a sex slave, but they only got partially done with her, so she kept her free will. And then, Kai, who was dead, and he was an assassin. And what was the robot head's name? I forgot his name. He had a number designation. I can't.
Yeah, yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember it. But anyways, he was all in love with Zev because her programming,
No,
Zev's programming.
He was in love with not Zev,
Oh,
the
no,
assassin.
no, I thought he was in love with Zev first, and then it got switched to Kai.
Oh, yeah,
I think
maybe.
it did. I think it did. Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe it was the reverse. I don't know. I can't remember now. It's been too long.
Being able to change your hair color just by thinking.
That,
No,
that wasn't Zev. That wasn't Lex.
that was something else. What was that? I just saw that on something within the last several months.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
What was that?
Mm.
Oh, it's bugging me now because I just saw that. I just saw that on something and I can't remember what that was. Yeah, I don't remember what that was. It's gonna bug me now. But yeah, there's nothing else on to watch. I don't think. Like I say, I can't watch those things that you'd said because they're on.
Netflix.
Yeah. So, um, and then for Dune, I think I'm not sure if what's available. Like I'd seen the original or when I say original one, the Lynch. I never forget it. I never remember his first name. 1980s one, and I seen the
David Lynch.
David Lynch. Okay, and then I seen the Sci-Fi Network ones, the miniseries, and I've seen the first part of the new Dune film, and I'm not going to spend 20 some pounds to watch on pay per view just to watch it and rent it on Amazon. There's no way in hell that
Yeah.
I'll ever pay that. I'll watch it free, yes. I can buy the bloody Blu-ray for like 14 pounds, and they want more for just watching it.
Yeah.
It's
I did not see the miniseries. I would like to see the miniseries. I've heard it's really good.
It is. It's got its faults, but it's the best. It's the best depiction. It's just that like it's for TV, so everybody that they say, oh, the effects are terrible and stuff like this, and it's like it doesn't matter about the effects. It's the storyline. Like you can have the best effects in the world if it's the story and the acting shit, it
Right.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You might as well have a paper plane that's supposed to
Yeah.
be a spaceship going across, and that will work for me if it's acting. The acting well done.
Yeah. Well, I actually like the Dune from the 80s.
I know.
I love that movie. But I think my favorite thing, the reason I like that, or one of the reasons I like that movie so much, is because it keeps all of the internal dialogue. of the characters. Well, I mean, not all of it, of course, but it keeps internal dialogue of the characters in the movie. And like the
Yeah,
new movies don't do that. And it completely changes the entire story to not have all that internal dialogue.
it
Not to
does,
mention,
but I just don't. I didn't think they did it. They did that well enough. That's the thing. It seemed hokey the way they did it for some reason, and I
I
think
liked
there
it.
could have been a better way they could have done that. And then the Baron von Harkonnen, it's like I don't know what the hell they did with him.
Well, yeah, they did weird stuff with him in that first movie, but I still like the movie overall. I like the movie overall better than I like the first half of the new Dune. I
Well, the
didn't like
thing
the
that
new Dune.
the funny thing is, I'm reading Dune again, and I've gained weight since I last read the book, but I weigh less than what he's talking that Baron von Harkonnen weighs. I weigh less than him, not by much, but a little less. Or no, no, sorry, he weighs less than me, just
Oh.
by a fraction. So it's like,
Well, you know, one of the other highlights in that first Dune movie is Sting in metal underwear.
there's only one thing that was good about it, because it's like they really picked a perfect actress for Jessica,
Yeah,
Francesca Annis.
yeah, absolutely. And that actress they have playing her in this new movie, I was like, what the hell? They like completely changed her character. It's like not even the same Jessica in the book. I was like mortified. I was like, what are they doing? They're embarrassing themselves with this Jessica. What the hell?
Well, even in the TV series, they didn't pick someone properly either. It's like,
Well,
well, Francesca,
did they at least depict her correctly?
I think so. Fairly, it's a while since I've seen it. It's a long time, actually. It's a long time since I've seen it. It's well over a decade. I don't think I saw it here in the UK. It must
Yeah,
be, I don't know when I last saw it, to be honest.
yeah. But I will say the one thing that the newer movie did better was the Harkonnen, Baron Harkonnen, and also I thought the actor they chose to play Paul was appropriate. Whereas in the '80s movie,
Really?
the guy they have playing Paul's like 20 something years old, and like in the beginning of Dune, Paul's like 14, and he turns 15 somewhere in there. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
he was way too old to be playing that part.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He does look like a kid, but I just didn't think he could act in the new one, and I couldn't understand. He's whispering all the time, and I couldn't hear half of what he's saying.
You mean his internal dialogue?
No, he's whispering. He's talking to people, and he's whispering.
I don't. I guess
Right.
I never noticed that.
Well, that's something that's happened in the last like 10 years or so. You get characters that's whisper. It's like there's so many things. I put myself through. I would never watch that Discovery again. It's there's so many things that are just so excruciatingly painful, like the bad acting of the main actress, and she whispers all the time as well.
Well, my problem with Discovery was not the actors, it was the show itself, the entire premise and everything about it.
Yeah, well, all that is crap, but there is some like I focused on just the science fictional aspects and the science fictional story thing, which I
Yeah,
found some of it interesting.
yeah.
What they did, and but at times when they do things, it's just shut up and get on with it. I don't give a shit about this. Yes, you want to call them they them. I don't care.
Yeah. Did you see Strange New Worlds?
Yes, yeah.
What do you think of Strange New Worlds?
I liked it. I liked it.
Did you watch both season one and season two?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that they were portraying Uhura well enough. I don't think that didn't work for me. I
Yeah,
thought they did well. Like you didn't think so, but I thought they did well with Scotty from what I saw. I like the way they did Scotty.
but Scotty's not in Strange New Worlds except for one brief moment, and they don't even show his face.
No, he's in the second season.
No,
Scotty's in the yes, because they
No,
meet him on the planet in the second season. He's in a couple episodes. He's one of the main characters in a couple episodes.
I don't remember this. What were the episodes about?
They're on the planet with the Gorn, and they're trapped on the planet with the Gorn at the end of season 2.
I don't remember Scotty being there.
Yeah, because he crashed and he was able to get away from the Gorn, and then they're trapped on the planet with the Gorn.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that because I don't remember that at all. I don't remember Scotty being there at all, except for like in one of I think the last episode, all you see is you hear him talking, you see his hand come around with a tool or something, and like that's all I remember of Scotty being in it. I'll have to rewatch that episode with the Gorn because I don't remember Scotty being in that at all.
Oh, he's in there.
Interesting. How about that?
But yeah, like and definitely they're not doing Spock well. That's for sure. I don't think.
I'm not a fan of the actor they have playing Spock, but it's fine. It's whatever.
But yeah,
I'm just glad it's episodic and it's not some fucking saga. Sorry, I'm dropping the F-bombs today. My God. Anyways, I'm just glad it's episodic and that it feels a lot more like Star Trek. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm happy with it. Season 1 was great. Season 2 had 2 really good episodes, and then the rest were either terrible or mediocre.
yeah, I kind of enjoy it, but it's just I just have a lot of issues with Star Trek in general. That's the thing.
Yeah,
And one of the issues are that it is episodic.
I like that. I prefer episodic. You know. I like Alien and Space Phenomena of the Week. You know.
See, the thing is, I like the original series. Like, this is the thing. That's why, like, right as a kid, I could not stand Captain Kirk. I could not stand Kirk. Just,
Mhm.
I just wish they would have spaced them right in the first episode. I liked Pike. I liked Jeffrey Hunter. That's the actor
Yeah,
in the menagerie that they did. Like, when I finally saw that, and I go, yeah, I wish that he was the captain. You know,
I really like Captain Pike in Strange New Worlds.
he kind of grew on me at the beginning. I didn't. His hair didn't work for me.
I like his hair and his face and his body and his voice. He's pretty. He's pretty. He's pretty drool-tastic. He's pretty to look at.
The number one though is like built like a tank in this one in the new
The
one, I think.
number one, um, Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah, like she's got to be 6'5" or something like that. She's built like a tank.
She's not built like a tank. She's just tall. What the hell are you
Well,
talking
she's
about?
big. She's big and muscular, or at
She
least
does
that's what
not.
they're portraying, that she's built like a tank.
I don't know. She doesn't look as exceptionally muscular to me. She's tall, but like she doesn't. She looks normal otherwise. I think you crazy.
But there's no
I
Yeoman
love her
Rand
as
though.
number one, by the way. I love
What?
her. I love her as number one, by the way.
Oh.
I think she's excellent.
Yeah, there's no Yeoman Rand to drool over though in this one.
Yeah, but there's Captain Pike.
Yeah, but
pretty.
I'm not drooling over Captain Pike.
He's mighty He's mighty pretty.
Actually, didn't there was a Yeoman Rand in something that I saw that they had, I think. Well, that may have been, I might have watched the first film, the whatever you call the Calvin timeline or whatever it's called. Somewhere along the line, I'm sure there was a Yeoman Rand that pops up somewhere, I think.
I do not know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
If it's in the Calvin timeline movies, I have not seen those for a long time. So I
Yeah.
haven't rewatched them.
Well, if I have seen any of them, it's the one. But they were talking about, because she's the one that's in the I can't remember the actor's name, but he's sort of, he's lived by himself all the time, and he spanks or pats Yeoman Rand on the bum, and that's where he's asking Captain Kirk, is there something wrong with that?
In the original show?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that. But
yeah.
not surprising because there's a lot of that kind of stuff happening to women in that show.
But she's in one of my favorite sort of comedy films, and sadly Marilyn Monroe's in it. But it's despite Marilyn Monroe being in the film, it's great. Um, she's Yeoman Rand's in Some Like It Hot.
Oh, I've seen that. It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, she's one of the dancers, and she plays an instrument, and she's on the train. She's in there a few times.
I think she passed away fairly recently, sometime in the last couple of years.
But it was kind of funny when I was doing my and nobody mentioned, because I keep poo-pooing Star Trek, but nobody mentioned every movie that I was doing. I was always usually bringing in that there was some actor in that movie that booked the film that I was doing that was in Star Trek of some shape or form. Like Spock's mother was in one, like Jeffrey Hunter, like Pike, Yeoman Rand, the actor that played the um, Jack the Ripper one in the original series. Like it was like every one pretty while I was doing this, and nobody commented on it. It was the Star Trek connection in that week, in that book to film, but
Yeah,
nobody
I
noticed
don't
that.
remember that at all. Don't remember that at all.
And I'm sure probably there were some that I missed, and ones that I didn't mention it,
Yeah.
because they ran through all the actors, like they would have ran through, like, huge actors, like Jane Wyman was Spock's mummy
Mm. In which one?
in the original series, and in
Oh,
the
okay.
films, and in a couple of the later films.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
In the
because
Kelvin
she.
timeline, Winona Ryder is Spock's mother.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, like that's the same. I was watching that, what, Stranger Things, and it came up on the screen, Winona Ryder, and I go, oh, okay. I watched the episode, and I go, oh, okay, she must be in another episode. So
I
I
know,
watched
it's so weird. I
what?
watched that. It's so weird to me that you would say that because I watched that. That's the only episode I've seen of it, and I immediately knew that was. I was like, "Oh, there's Winona Ryder," and like immediately knew it was her.
It took me like 3 episodes, or maybe the fourth episode, and I go, wait a minute, is that? And I had to check. I had to actually look it up to check to be sure.
Oh my god, that's hilarious!
I did not recognize her
I
at
can't believe.
all.
I think she looks the same. She just looks older. She looks exactly the same though.
Now I see it. It's like once I see it, but I didn't see it.
That's so funny.
It's like there's a new Beetlejuice. Oh, that looks bad. The previews that I see, that looks really bad.
I haven't seen the previews. Like I was aware that there's a new Beetlejuice, but I haven't seen the previews. So, but I can't imagine anybody doing Beetlejuice better than Michael Keaton.
Yeah, well, he's getting a little long in the tooth there as well.
Yeah.
What's Jenny saying here? I was on my second watch of Wednesday before I recognized Christina Ricci.
I never saw that show. I didn't know Christina Ricci was in it.
Yeah, well, she was in the original uh, films that they did. That they did of the
Adam's Family movies.
thank you, Adam's Family, yeah.
Mhm.
And that was kind of weird. I don't think they get away with that today, because she was definitely 12 or 13, and they sexualized her in those films. They
Christina
clearly
Ricci. I
what?
saw those films. I don't remember Christina Ricci being sexualized in those movies.
Oh, that's it. She was.
They did?
People. There's a whole thing about that.
Really? I
Yeah.
apparently did not notice this at all. Wow.
Yeah. Not to mention the porn versions of it all.
Now that I have absolutely no clue. I
Well,
don't know. I
anything
just
that's
don't know.
popular, you got a porn version. I'm sure you've got oodles and oodles of Star Trek porn. I'm sure of that because it's popular. You name anything that's popular, and they would have done a porn. They would have done a porn parody of it. Even if it wasn't popular, they probably would have done it
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
because you can just see these things to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Okay, great. Now I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head. Thank you very much, Sir Sean of the Gutter. Damn
I
it.
haven't seen any of these. I'm assuming there are, but I can just imagine what they would do with those kind of things. And Spock's pointy ears, yeah.
Oh my God. Will you quit putting horrible visions in my head? Jesus Christ. Yeah, Sean, why do you know this?
I just know how they do things.
Well, this is even worse that you're thinking it up on your own. Jeez.
No, I can guarantee they're real. Like even without even knowing it.
Oh. And how do you know? How do you know that that's where this would go and that it's real without even ever seeing it firsthand?
I have seen some that they've done the same type of things with.
Have you seen
So,
some that they've done the same things with? I
yeah,
mean,
not Star Trek though. Not
you seem
Star
to
Trek.
act like you know an awful lot about how this stuff works.
Well, yeah, like it you do. It's called life. That you see things,
We know what
you
you're doing
go
in
to
your spare
places and
time.
you what?
We know what you're doing in your spare time.
Hey, like I said, there's not too many games you can play by yourself.
There you go, Jenny.
And then
Mark's about influence.
Woody Allen says, "Don't knock masturbation. It's making love to no, you're having sex with someone you love or something like that." Some stupid thing.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Well,
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna have to get off of here.
leading me astray, but at least I don't collect genitals.
Well, there you go. That's true. That's a good point.
Now I'll be sued for libel.
Yeah.
To each their own. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's coming up to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's enough. And once it descends into smut, it's time to leave
Yeah.
on a
Plus,
high note.
I need to make some Star Trek videos tonight. So that's what I'll be doing when I get off of here with you, is preparing for some Star Trek videos, or for some book Trek videos rather.
Yeah, I've got a couple things. I saw a video that I'll talk to you about it right after if you got a few minutes because I won't say it on here because it won't be a surprise, but it'll be. I just want to say a few things that I don't want to say publicly.
Oh my God. All right, Jenny, that was good. Oh. Hey, Jenny, you're going to have to come on the next time. I was telling Sean I would really like to do a live where you're on it as well.
You're gonna have to, Jenny. You'll have to do your thickest Glaswegian accent for Brandy. Dave
My,
full of writing.
I am not surprised by this.
Steve has boldly gone at the Odeon in Leeds. Well, Steve, in 6 days we will be doing a live for Dune. You have to brush up on R.D. Blackmore before we do that. You want an East Coaster to fake West Coast, the horror.
Wait, Jenny's Scottish, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're the biggest. I I want to. Oh, do you have? Who has a digital copy of Dune?
I do have an ebook of Dune.
Do a search for watch, like wristwatch.
Oh yeah, you're so right.
Yeah, that's a way to do it.
I wonder if I can find that on here.
And you already done more videos than the other Steve. Yeah, I'm going to be doing one, but not about. I'm going to do something about Dune, but I'm going to do it more about the book, not the story. If that makes sense. I do, and I'm not sure what that's referring to. I do. Did somebody ask you to marry you, Jenny?
Oh, shit.
Oh, Brian, I haven't seen you. Well, just finished mowing several acres, but I'm still hydrated enough to say hello.
Okay, here's Dune.
Jenny screams back, "Hell no!"
I'm gonna see if I can find watch in my.
Yeah, like there's gonna be like watching something. Probably it's gonna come up. Nobody would ever be that crazy. Yeah, here we go. I knew it would be. Steve has gone boldly gone with Frank Herbert.
Of course he has. Shit. Okay, let's search for watch.
Yeah, Aaron said he's going to do a video on his initial thoughts on the first book of Dune this evening. I'm just going to, I think, talk about sort of uh, a few things about what led up to him writing Dune, and that it was. Anyway, I might as well not say it here. If I say it all here, then there's no sense doing the bloody video.
Huh. I'm not coming up with anything.
Well, there is in the first.
Oh, I believe you. I think I just don't know how to work the search function. How
And
did I get old enough to not know how technology works?
if not killed by fear, then it'll be the puppy pack waiting to pounce.
What's the puppy pack?
Pack of dogs, I think.
I don't get it.
Oh, that reminds me of a very good line that's in this book here. And this, I'll leave it on the lowest note that you can. Let's see here. See if I can find it, and I'll read it because nobody will believe that I'm actually doing this, reading it properly. If I can find it here. Yeah, do you want to be left here like a dog stuck in a bitch?
What?
One Comanche said to another Comanche.
That phrase doesn't even make sense to me.
Okay.
I would immediately think it was a typo.
No, it's not a typo. I'm not going to explain to you if you want to Google mating habits of dogs.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about. How dogs get stuck together sometimes. Okay. Wow. Gotcha. Shit.
And on that note, we can't get any lower.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.